I'm trying to save you guys from yourselves. I wish somebody would have told me, but they didn't. So here it is.
Mom and daddy from the south, I like golds in my mouth, like to drive real slow with the beats down low. And I've never been a shooter, but I read.
What is up to all of my little unicorns, new and old? It's your girl WestIndieRay, back again with another information-filled video. So yesterday I actually did a color retouch on my hair, and while I was doing the retouch, I was thinking about y'all. Now I have a video on how I achieved this color on my locks. I will link it right up here as well as in the description box below. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that video out. I go through all the steps and I tell you exactly what I do and why. But I wanted to make sure that I had a resource for you guys who maybe need a little bit more direction before I went ahead and posted new photos of this color retouch. So of course today is going to be my top 10 tips for color retouches. Now let me just say this, okay? I am not a loctician, all right? I am not a hairstylist. I am not a professional at all. This is just the tips that I follow for myself. If you guys choose to follow me because you like my hair and it comes out bomb every time, in your opinion, you know, then you can review my tips and consider them. But I am in no way, shape, or form trying to tell you guys to do your own hair and this is how you do it and it's a fail-proof way and you know, all that stuff. Like, this is just what I do, so I want to make it very, very clear, because if you jack up your hair and then you come on here talking about WestIndieRay told you to do it, please just keep that in mind as you watch this video and maybe experiment with your own hair. Real quick though, before we get into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, okay? Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon next to it to be notified whenever I come out with new content, and also make sure that you like this video. That helps me out a lot and it shows YouTube that you love to see this kind of content. So make sure you do that for me, and without further ado, let's get into these tips. So hopping right in, tip number one is to make sure that you always have extra product on hand. I've been doing my own hair for years. Back when I had loose curly hair, I colored my hair probably professionally once or twice. One time it turned out terribly and the other time it turned out really good. But twice I've had my hair professionally colored. All the rest of the time, with all the different colors that I've had, I did it myself, okay? And I can't tell you how many times I've been in the middle of processing my hair and then I realized that I don't have enough supplies. Whether it's I don't have enough toner to cover my whole head, or color, or bleach, or developer. I always was running into this problem to where I just didn't have enough product and I would have to like kind of halfway do it and make it work, or finish that process, go to the store, and then come back and work on it some more. And that can be very detrimental because depending on what route you take, you don't want to over process your hair, or you know, like risk doing half of it and then some of it gets kind of processed but not all the way because it's blotchy, and then you have to go back in and fix it and all that nonsense. It just is not worth it. It's way easier just to buy extra product just in case maybe you mix up your bleach or your color or whatever and you don't have enough. You can just do more at that time and you do not have to worry about it. So definitely make sure that you buy extra product. Even if you don't use it, you could use it for next time, you could return it or whatever. Just make sure that you have it on hand. All right, so the next tip is actually going to be more specific to how I process my hair. So you guys know, if you watch my other videos, that I actually use bleach on my hair. My preferred bleach is actually one that is like the blue color. It kind of helps make sure that your hair doesn't get too brassy during processing. It like tones it while it lifts your hair color. That is like my preferred type. I can do a whole video on what bleaches I prefer or what bleaches are doable, even though I don't really prefer them, and why in the future. I don't have one of those right now, but my preferred one is definitely with like a blue tint to it. Even if that's the case and you do have one of those blue colored bleaches or purple colored bleaches, I would always suggest having a toner on hand just in case. It could potentially save you a lot of time. Even when my hair doesn't turn out super brassy, I like kind of setting the mood for all of my hair because I mainly just do my roots. So I want to make sure that the roots are neutralized and so are the lengths of my hair. So I put the toner all over. If you guys watch my video, then I go into detail and I explain that whole process right there. But I would definitely suggest make sure that you have a toner on hand. I also talk about purple shampoo in my other video. That stuff also helps a lot with neutralizing your color if you're not going for a super brassy look. Okay, number 3 is definitely going to be to learn the hot spots of your hair. This might take a little bit of trial and error, but it's really, really important when you're experimenting with your hair and things. If you choose to do so, I'm not telling you to do it, but if you choose to do so, it's really, really important for you to pay attention to what areas of your hair lighten the quickest. That's what I mean by hot spots, okay? So this part of my hair actually takes the longest, so that's not the hot spot. My hot spots are up here. These areas of my head tend to be the warmest, so they generate the most heat and they process a lot quicker. So when I do my hair, I always go here first, then I do the front, then I do the back, okay? Because I know about the hot spots of my head and I know which areas actually process the fastest. So that's definitely a really, really big tip that I want you guys to all look out for. Okay, so for number 4, this one is kind of similar to number 1 when I said buy extra. The other tip is, let's say that you can't afford to buy extra, just don't use all of it at once, okay? For me personally, I buy extra, but I kind of know how much I'm gonna use. So I personally just like to keep a little bit of bleach and a little bit of developer set aside just in case I need to use it. What happens sometimes to me is that I do my hair and it's all looking good, but then there's like one spot up here on this lock that didn't really get bleached and it's like really black, and I might want to go in and just dab a little bit on that one part, process it for a few minutes and wash it out, okay? So I wouldn't be able to do that if I use all of my product. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you can't go buy extra products all the time, just try to set a little bit of it aside. You don't have to do much, just a little bit aside just in case you need it or just in case you missed a part of your head. All right, so number 5 is definitely something that I had to learn from my mistakes with, and it was terrible. Like the learning curve with this one was just all bad. I looked a hot mess and I just wouldn't recommend it to anybody, and I'm trying to save you guys from yourselves. I wish somebody would have told me, but they didn't. So here it is. Number 5 is definitely to make sure that you are not bleaching your baby hairs first if you're bleaching your hair, because what's going to happen is that's going to end up being the most processed part of your hair, and when you lay your edges, you're going to look bald headed. If this part of my hair was as blonde as some of the other parts, I literally would look like I don't have baby hairs. It would just be straight forehead. So what I do now is I do the middle, like I said, I do the front, but I leave my baby hairs out, then I do the back, and then I might like go like this to my baby hairs last, just to make sure that they don't look like just super black and the rest of my hair is blonde. But you also don't want to get them too light to the point where they're invisible, because that can and might happen if you bleach your baby hairs first. Number 6 is for the health of your hair. Please do not go too light. A lot of times people want to go from black hair to blonde hair just like that, and when you do that, you can cause a lot of damage to your hair and over process it, and that's never good. So just take your time with it. I don't process my hair for too long because I know that the next time that I do my hair, the part that's right next to the new growth is probably going to get touched again with the bleach, and it's going to get lighter and processed again. So you don't want to rush the process. When I first started with the blonde locks or the light colored hair, my hair was a lot darker than it is right now. But over time, processing it and a little bit of bleach getting on the rest of my hair, just a little bit towards the end, has gotten it to the point to where, you know, it's not super damaged or anything like that. The ends are not falling out or anything like that. And also my hair is to the desired lightness. So number 7 is something that is very specific to locks. It's a mistake that I've made in the past. Although you want to make sure that you are not over processing your hair and bleaching it like once a month or something like that, you also want to make sure that you don't wait too long between retouches. I had an experience one time to where I waited a really, really long time between retouches, and the hair that I should have retouched was locked by the time I went to actually go retouch it, and it didn't bleach well because I couldn't get to like the middle hairs. So like all of this obviously was light, and then the part that got locked up before it got retouched was black in the middle, and you could kind of see to the middle that it was still dark, and then my new growth was really light, so it just looked weird. It looked like I had kind of knots of black hair in between my retouch and the rest of the length of my hair. I really hope that that makes sense. I'm not sure if it does, but just try to imagine it for me, please. and just keep that in mind. I personally would say that I probably retouch my hair like 3 or 4 times a year, so I don't really go too crazy, and I don't go out of my way to process the whole thing and make it like super light or anything like that. So you don't want to damage it, but keep in mind like how far up your hair is locking. Number 8 is definitely going to be to protect your skin. I'm not always the best at this, but it is recommended to put like coconut oil or like some type of grease on your skin so that you don't burn your face or anything like that around your ears when you are doing your retouches or when you're bleaching your hair. I've had instances to where I've gotten like little rashes on my face, and that's because we're working with chemicals here. It's not the ideal situation, but depending on who you are, you may or may not care about that. The other day I actually got a facial, and then I did my hair and I had like a little rash on my face because it was so irritated from the chemicals. Whereas if I would have protected my skin, that would have never happened. One thing that I would recommend if that does happen, try to put some Manuka honey on the areas of your skin that are irritated, and it will really help with the inflammation, and it will help with just the visuals of it as well, and it'll make it feel a lot better and heal up a lot quicker. Manuka honey, you guys, is the GOAT. Highly recommend. But you could avoid all of that just by making sure that you put a protective barrier on your skin before you actually go in and start doing work with chemicals. Number 9 is a big one, especially for your pockets. Make sure that you wear clothes that you don't particularly care for, because if bleach gets on your clothes, you will definitely ruin them. It'll get damaged. For me personally, I do not own a lot of clothes that I don't care for. I only have one shirt and a pair of pants that aren't really in the best condition, and I use those when I have my big deep cleaning days and when I do my hair. Those are the only things that I wear those for. I don't have a mound of clothes to choose from because you guys know me, I try to do the whole sustainability thing, and I try to have the, you know, essential clothes and not have a whole bunch of excess or things that I don't make use of. So I do have one outfit for when I actually color my hair and when I do house chores, and I just wash it over and over again, and it works out perfectly well for me because I'm not ruining my clothes with hair bleach or anything else. And number 10 is going to be very protective of your home. Make sure that if you have any rugs or anything on your bathroom floor, that you move them so that you do not ruin them with bleach or with toner or anything like that. I always move my rugs. I also make sure that I put like protective barriers on my countertops as well, because sometimes things like purple shampoo or toner can spill on them and they'll leave like kind of like a purple tint that is a little bit difficult to get up. So just make sure that you are protecting your surroundings and make sure that you clean up really well afterwards. For me, I have a puppy, and God forbid he like licks some of the bleach up from the floor, so I always make sure that I completely and thoroughly like mop my floor after doing a hair treatment, and it's really big. It'll keep everybody in your home a lot safer, and it'll keep your things a lot nicer. All right, so that about sums it up for this video. Let me know if you do your hair yourself or if it's like a heck nah, I gotta go to a loctician. Drop me a comment down below, and if you made it to the end of the video, also drop me a little unicorn down below. I would love to see who actually made it to the end. That's about it though. I'm going to blast. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow all of my social media accounts right down there, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.